Hi everyone. So my gestational diabetes journey starts here. I took the 1 hour test, ate a regular breakfast, went in, drank the sugar water. I didn't pass it. Second time, I went in fasting and then took four different blood tests, still didn't pass it. So that's when I know that I have gestational diabetes. And then they give you this kit. You just poke your finger and test it 4 times a day to control your blood sugar. It was actually fairly easy. It's just you have to learn how to control what you eat. So I started the healthy diet, and here are some ideas for what to eat for breakfast. You can eat two wheat toast and with peanut butter or an egg or an omelet. Those are all proteins. Or you can have a salad with an egg and a small piece of chicken and then a toast. Or you can even have cottage cheese with salad. And ranch is low carb dressing, so you can have ranch. And then, at the end of the pregnancy, I couldn't eat much carbs, so a lot of salad and meat. Now, here are some ideas for lunch and dinners. Most of the time, I would just eat a lot of buffalo wings because that worked really well and it made me felt like I was still eating some restaurant food. Avocados are fat, so you can eat that too. And then I would do some pork chop with salad, a lot of salad, as you can see. And then some steak and fish, and then, just grill some vegetables, and then have some toast. Tangerine, two of the mini ones are one serving of fruit, so you can still have that. And then the brown ones, 1/3 cup of brown rice is one serving. So you can have that with meat and veggie. And then you can still have fries, but you just gotta eat a lot of protein and veggie first. And then make sure you eat the homemade one, not the restaurant one. And then fish is always really healthy. Just eat it with veggies and some carbs, and a lot of meat, fish, veggies. That's all my dinners. And then you can have milk. You can have a glass of milk, a cup of milk with wheat tortilla, and then some meat, and then some salad. And then most importantly for me was what to eat for snacks. For snacks, there's popcorn. 3 cups of popcorn equals to one serving of carb. Eat it with peanut butter. You can melt it in the microwave, or an apple with peanut butter. That's basically one serving of fruit and then peanut butter. And this saved my life. No sugar jello. I made this on my own and then just buy the fat-free whip. And then you can have protein bars, low-fat Greek yogurt, and cheese stick. And that's it. Hi everyone. While Jaden is taking a nap, I'm gonna talk to you about gestational diabetes. I found out I was pregnant around the time of 5 weeks, and um, and then I started feeling pukey, nausea, and I couldn't eat much around 6 to 7 weeks, and then it continued into the second trimester. So I didn't feel like I could eat anything. I was constantly eating crackers and 7 Up. Crackers and 7 Up were my best friends back then. Anything else, the smell, the strong, oh my God, the smell, I was just smelling everything, the littlest thing. If my husband was cooking, I wanted to gag. So I could not eat much during my first trimester. The nausea did not end until I was almost into the 5th month, I think. So, and during the second trimester, around 5th month, I was super happy. I was able to eat, and I ate it like, whatever I wanted. Um, and I was gaining weight, and mostly the belly. The baby was gaining a lot of weight. But by that time I was so happy I could actually finally eat. So I just ate whatever I wanted. Now, my mom keep on telling me that, oh, I looked so big, I need to stop eating all the carbs, and don't ever tell a pregnant woman that you look so big or you're so fat. And she would keep telling me that, oh, so said that you look fat too. No, no, don't do that. Don't ever do that to a pregnant woman. She will get so mad and fight with you all the time. So stop. Don't do that. My husband, on the other hand, was more sensitive. He didn't oppose of me wanting to eat. But I eat whatever, like I try to eat healthy, but sometimes I want some chips and, things that make me happy, the comfort eating. Now I did gain weight, but it wasn't one of my concern. I thought pregnant women are supposed to gain weight. Why not? But everybody's like, oh, you're only 6 months. Your belly looks big. Why does it look like you're 7 or 8 months? And I didn't know. Like I just figured, hey, maybe because I was eating a lot, and so around 27 to 28 weeks. I did the first and the second diabetes test. Now, they usually schedule you by the 26th week, and then they told me to go in anytime during the 27th week to do the first test. And the first test is 1 hour test. Basically, you just go in there, drink like about this big, a can of orange sugar water. It tastes like orange soda, so I just drank it. And then after an hour, you would go in and take a blood test, and then they would find out if you do have gestational diabetes or not. Now, for that one, because they did test out that it was a possibility that I would have gestational diabetes, so they told me to go back and test it for the second time. Now, the second test was a little bit more annoying than the first one, because the second test, you have to stay there for 3 hours, I believe. You go in and you take the sugar water, drink it, and then go back after 1 hour, and then you go back after the second hour, and then you go back after the third hour. So it's like there's 4 different blood tests. The first blood test is the fasting. You just take that blood test, and then you drink the sugar water, and then you come back after an hour to take the blood test again, and then they'll basically ask you to come back after another hour. So I was there for 3 hours, and I did 4 blood tests. After that one, they told me that absolutely sure that I have gestational diabetes. I guess, after 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, your sugar is supposed to drop for a certain amount, and mine didn't. So they know that I have gestational diabetes. Now, for the recommendations, the first time you go in, some people say, oh, you can cheat it by not eating anything and just go take the test. Don't do that, because you are cheating. And if you cheat it, then it's a risk for your baby and you. So don't cheat. Just eat a balanced, nutritional breakfast, like some protein, a little bit of carb, and then take the test as usual, so they know how much sugar your body can actually take. The second test, you have to go in fasting, of course. You can't drink water, you can't eat. You just go in fasting. They take your fasting blood sugar, and then after that, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Now, after I was tested positive, they sent me to a class, a gestational diabetes diet class. They teach you what gestational diabetes is, and they tell you what to eat and what not to eat, how to eat a balanced meal while you're pregnant. Basically, I learned a lot. Now, my mom would always tell me back then, it's because I ate too much, because, I let myself go. No, that's not true. It is not your fault that you got gestational diabetes. Remember that, especially if you're pregnant. Do not blame yourself. I almost thought it was my fault because my mom kept telling me that, I ate too much. Moms are like that, especially Asian mom, because Asians are like size 0 to 2, and I am not size 0. I'm big. So my mom will always tell me, oh, are you losing weight? Oh, did you lose the weight? Oh, did you gain a lot? She will always do this, but it's not her fault. It's kind of like a culture thing, but it was driving me crazy. But remember this, it is not your fault that you got gestational diabetes. It is because of your placenta, and also if you have a family history of diabetes, it increases the risk of you getting that gestational diabetes. And my grandma does, actually, she did have diabetes. So, it, it was kind of, my risk was increased a lot. And if you're a minority, you get it more. It's just how it is. It's your body, it's your placenta blocking the insulin. It's not your fault. Now, whatever you ate before could increase your sugar, but would not cause gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is already there. It doesn't matter what, as long as your placenta is there, and it just gives you gestational diabetes. It's not your fault. It's not because of what you ate. So I felt better after taking the class, after that they told me that, hey, it's not your fault. It's just how the placenta is blocking the insulin. So making you, to have the gestational diabetes, that your sugar spikes. You can't process sugar as much as you used to before you were pregnant. So being said, they gave me a food guide. I want to share this with you because this was very useful. That food guide, they would tell me that, in the morning you would not drink any milk, because milk is carb. Milk will actually spike your sugar. So in the morning you don't get to drink milk. And then for starch, in the morning you can have 1 to 2 portion of starch. And then no fruit, because fruit is sugar. It will spike you. So in the morning you have no fruit. Vegetable is optional. You can eat them. You don't have to. Protein, 1 to 2 portion of it, and that's it. Now, so what's one portion? One portion, it's usually like, for example, if you have wheat toast, 1 piece, it's usually 1 portion. Now you can't, I couldn't eat the white toast. It was spiking. And I could eat the wheat toast around the beginning of 3rd trimester, but as my pregnancy progressed, I could not eat the wheat toast anymore. So I had to cut off on the wheat toast later, just because, the later it is, your sugar is even harder to control. So in the 2nd trimester, 3rd trimester beginning, I could eat the wheat toast, but not later. Now, how do you know that? Because you test your sugar after your meal. I tested 1 hour after my meal, and then it has to be below 140. So if it's above 140, I know that, I need to cut back on whatever I just ate. All right, so this tells me what I can eat and what I cannot. And you can eat fats like butter. Peanut butter is a protein actually, but it can also consider as fats if you wanted to. So in the morning, I would have like maybe 1 to 2 pieces of toast, and then with peanut butter. Or I can have 1 piece of wheat toast with egg. Egg is a protein, or cheese. Cheese is a protein. And then during lunchtime, I can have 1 cup of milk. That's carb, but during lunchtime, the sugar is more controlled. I don't know why in the morning, the sugar is just harder to control. And so they don't allow you to have milk in the morning. And then there is starch. Starch, you can have 1 to 2 portion of it. And then there's fruit. You can actually have fruit during lunch. Just one serving size of it. And then protein, you can have 2 to 3 serving size. Protein fills you up, so you can have 2 to 3 serving size of protein, and then 1 to 2 serving size of fat. Fat such as avocado, and then like I said, butter. And then remember, during those times, between all the meals, you need to take snacks. For the snacks, after, like, I would eat 2 hours after breakfast. Maybe like 1 starch and 1 milk or fruit, and then 1 protein. So after breakfast, 2 to 3 hours, you can eat a snack that is 1 starch. It could be, another toast, or it could be some crackers with cheese. Cheese is a protein, so cracker with cheese will be 1 starch and 1 protein. And then I could have milk or fruit. Now, sometimes I would actually have peanut butter with apple. because then, you know, you can have the fruit and you can have peanut butter, and it was really good. Now, after lunch, 2 to 3 hours, you would have another snack. So that snack would be like a starch. So it could be a toast and fruit, you know, toast or fruit, and then one protein. So you can, because fruit is actually, you know, kind of same thing as starch because it has sugar. So you can only choose one or the other. So you get one starch or fruit and then one protein, and that's 2 to 3 hours after lunch. Now dinner time, you get one cup of milk, and then one serving of starch or 2 servings. So dinner time, I sometimes have some brown rice, and 1/3 cup will be one serving. So I will have like a 2/3 cup of brown rice with some fruit. It could be apple, small tangerine. It could be anything, just, you know, nothing too sweet, just keep in mind. Now vegetable, you can have 2 or more servings, protein 2 to 3 servings, and then fats 1 to 2 servings. Fats, I don't usually focus on that just because when I cook, the oil in it is fats, so I don't really concentrate on the fats. So actually, when I eat, you know, steak or chicken. The oil in it, I don't really care about greasy or not, because the greasiness actually help you during gestational diabetes. You don't have to, I ate fried chicken and I was okay. Some people don't work with that well with that, but because fried chicken is mostly meat, it's chicken. But the breaded part, I consider it as part of my carb, like 1 to 2 serving of the carb. And then I would eat it with some veggies. So I was okay. My numbers never went up with fried chicken. Some people can do it, some people can't. Everybody's react differently, so watch out on that. And then most importantly, it says 30 minutes before bed, you take another snack. It's usually one starch and one protein. Now I would eat peanut butter and a wheat toast for the longest time, and then after that I got really sick of it, and I went online and I searched, and people told me that, you know, you could have you know, yogurt, low-fat yogurt. Now Kaiser is my hospital and insurance, they told me not to do it, but I found out that, you know, the peanut butter and toast wasn't working for me. This affects your morning fasting numbers. While you have gestational diabetes, you actually take 4 times of the blood work for yourself. You poke yourself and then you test it to see, you know, whether or not what your sugar has spiked or not. Now, you do it 4 times a day, fasting after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's 4 times. Now, the midnight snack, the last snack, affects your morning numbers, because if you don't eat anything before you go to bed, your sugar would drop, and then your body would create sugar, so, you know, you're in a starvation mode, and then your sugar would spike in the morning. So this basically helps your body not to drop sugar and not to create sugar for yourself to spike. So after that, I would eat maybe a yogurt, a low-fat yogurt, and then, you know, some people say those no sugar cheesecake would work, and then some people say the Halo ice cream would work. Those are really expensive, but some people will eat like half cup of it before bed, and then maybe with some cheese or beef jerky. So whatever you eat, just make sure that it has to be balanced, proportional with protein and then with the starch. So, and then also they give you this guide that tells you what's protein and what's fats, what's free food, what's other carbohydrates, and then they also tell you the milk, starch, fruits, and vegetables. This is actually very useful. Once you're diagnosed, you go to your hospital, they schedule you for a class, and they give you this. Everybody has different information, different package, but they teach you how to eat. And basically, it's just the healthy plate. What's a healthy plate? It's basically, you know, a lot of veggies, and then 1/4 of the meat and 1/4 of the carb. That's actually very healthy. And remember, corn is a carb. So corn, potatoes, Sweet potatoes, those are carbs. If you eat them, you can't eat rice or toast. So just keep in mind. So this is what healthy plates look like, you know. So eat like this most of your meals and you'll be fine. And surprisingly, after I started with this diet, I stopped gaining weight. Of course, you know, I ate less carb, I didn't have sugar, I didn't have soda. I could have diet soda. Now that was a lifesaver because once you can't have sugar, you just crave it so hard. So I could have diet soda. Diet soda did not spike my sugar at all. And then, you know, it still tasted kind of sweet and it has that, you know, tingling soda feeling that I really enjoyed. So I did have that. And it's okay to have diet soda. And then what else was free food? Oh, you can have like one piece of hard candy and that was, you know, okay. It wasn't the most pleasant time of my life because you didn't get to eat a lot of things. Now, and I don't drink coffee or tea while I was pregnant. Some people still do, and they would complain the coffee and the creamer would spike them, but that wasn't my problem. My problem was just not being able to eat sugar. That was very difficult for me. And I remember wanting to eat donuts so bad. I remember asking my husband to bring me donut. The next day, you know, I delivered Jaden. But of course, I kind of calmed down because on the night that I delivered, I had McDonald's. As soon as I delivered Jaden, I asked my midwife, can I eat whatever I want? And she was like, go ahead. I did. She had gestational diabetes too, so she know how that felt. So she asked me to just eat whatever I wanted, and I had McDonald's right after I gave birth, and it was like my husband brought it back for me for like 11:30 at night. I was so hungry. I didn't eat for the longest time, and I'll share my birth experience in another video, but I had so much fun eating carbs after that. I did. But it's just during that time, you cannot eat a lot of carbs while you're pregnant because it will hurt the baby. If your sugar is always spiking, once you deliver, your baby's sugar would drop. And then that's what happened with Jaden. I controlled it as much as I could. And then this is like all the numbers. I draw down all the numbers. In the morning, you're supposed to have like you're not supposed to go up more than 95, and most of the time morning was the hardest for me, so I end up taking metformin, which is a medicine that controls my fasting, and it did work. I took 2 at night and it did work, and in the end it did work. It went down. But you know, and stress, don't be stressful, because if you were stressful, I was really stressful on that day because we had construction and my sugar was 121 fasting. So don't get stressful. If there's, you know, stressful people in your life, eliminate them. Do not let them get you stressful because that will spike your sugar. And I had to sleep in like 8 to 10 hours in order for my sugar not to spike so high. So I had to get a full night's sleep. I could not sleep for 5 hours. My sugar would be so high, it would be bad. So make sure you sleep enough. I don't know if it's 8 hours or 10 hours for you. Everybody's different. Just test your sugar every time you wake up, and then whatever works for you, keep it that way. And then also breakfast. My number usually spike after breakfast too, because morning your number spike, and when you eat it spikes even more. So with the breakfast one, I had to watch out what I eat. In the beginning, I could eat wheat toast. Later during the pregnancy, I could just eat protein and vegetables. So I would have like some chicken and some salad, and that would work out for me. But I couldn't have toast. Now lunch and dinner was easier to control, but remember, if you eat out, your sugar will most likely to spike because, you know, when you're eating out, they don't tell you what's in the food. Like I would eat Chinese food and I would eat all the meat, but sometimes they would actually add sugar in the sauce, or they would add you know, use some cornstarch, and you would know. Now when I cook at home, my meal was okay. I would be able to eat Chinese food at home and my number was fine. But when you eat out, the restaurants out there, they add sugar in the sauce, and then they add cornstarch that you don't ever know. So your sugar will spike because you wouldn't know that. So eating out was really hard for me. I tend to overeat when I'm out because I'm happy. I'm like, I finally get to eat out, and I would eat a little bit more, and then my sugar would spike. So eating out was very difficult for me. Now, just remember, try to eat at home most of the time. I know it's really hard. That's what I did, but because how I controlled it, Jaden wasn't big at all. Some people, when they have gestational diabetes and they don't control their sugar, um, they would have big babies, like 13 pounds, 10 pounds. Because I controlled it so well, Jaden was only 7 pounds and 8 ounces, exactly how newborn babies are supposed to weight. So I was really happy. It wasn't. He wasn't too big, but the ultrasound guy was like, yeah, it looked like he was a little bit on the big side because he was around 7 pounds and 8 ounces around the ninth month or the eighth month, I don't remember. And then he was telling me that he's gonna grow again, but because I controlled it so well, he didn't grow as much as everybody else expected him to. But his sugar did drop once he was born, but that was also because I'm a first time mom. And when he was born, nobody taught me how to breastfeed him, and they give us like an hour of bonding time. He wasn't breastfed when we were bonding because I didn't know how to breastfeed him, and nobody taught me. So by the time that they came back in, they tested his sugar. They're like, oh, his sugar dropped. Of course, because I couldn't get him to latch. I didn't understand how. I didn't understand the importance of breastfeeding him right away. I wish somebody would have told me that. So if you have gestational diabetes, and actually, even if you don't, make sure you feed your baby right away. Because I didn't know. I was a first time mom and I was just thinking, oh, my baby's born. I want to cuddle with him. All I wanted to do was just kiss him. I didn't even think about the importance of feeding him right away. I was so dumb. But yeah, don't make that mistake. But the good thing is, as soon as I found out his sugar dropped, I tried to breastfeed him, but we were having problem latching anyways. So they fed him formula to increase his blood sugar, which he turned out to be okay afterwards. His blood sugar increased, and it didn't drop after that. It just kept on going up. It was like 30 in the beginning, and you're supposed to be like above 45, 50, and then it just kept on going up. It went from 30 to like 35 to 45, and it was 50 something, and it was okay afterwards. So I was really glad that we caught it in time to feed him right away. But if you know how to breastfeed, well, if you're a first-time mom, you're probably not going to know, but just try to feed him right away. Feed your baby right away if you have gestational diabetes, just because those sugar will drop, because once they leave your uterus, they don't get the sugar from you anymore. They need that sugar. So feed them right away. So this is all the tips that I have. If you guys have any questions on gestational diabetes, I'm more than willing to help, just because I know I had a bunch of questions while I was pregnant, and I was suffering so much from not being able to eat sweets, desserts, carb. So I end up eating like I found out a lot about try to eat sugar when you can't. Like the diet soda, and then the no sugar jello. Oh, those were so good. You can eat the no sugar jello. Those satisfy my sweet tooth, and then you can have one piece of hard candy. But if you have any questions, I know my provider didn't help much. They gave me all the information that I needed, but they didn't teach me about these tips or tricks of satisfying a pregnant woman. So I had to go online and join a group called, I believe it's called Gestational Diabetes. Just go to Facebook and search Gestational Diabetes group. It's a gestational diabetes support group. So just join that group. Oh, people help you. People help you with lots of information on, how many protein to eat, what to eat that won't spike your sugar. I end up learning to eat protein bars, because protein bars are so good. They have dark chocolate in it, and dark chocolate doesn't usually spike your sugar.
And that was one of my sweet tooth desserts. I can have a protein bar. And they have protein and they have carb and they control your sugar. So I was really happy that I found that. Join the support group. Ask me any questions that you have. If I'm able to answer you, I will. I will go ahead and answer whatever you question you have. And good luck if you're pregnant. Don't be scared if you have gestational diabetes. It's not the end of the world. It's not that difficult. It actually helped me control my weight. At the end of my pregnancy, I did not gain a lot of weight. People say you probably would gain the most at the third trimester, but I didn't. I think the most I gained during the third trimester was like 4 to 5 pounds, and I gained like the rest of it in the middle of the pregnancy because I was eating so much. How much did I gain? I think I gained like 37, 38 pounds total. It was all before I started eating this diet. So yeah, this diet definitely worked on controlling your weight and then controlling the baby's weight and then giving you a healthy diet to eat. So you can still grow a baby inside of you and not gain weight. It's just most of pregnant women, they're emotional, they have cravings, and they need comfort eating. And hey, if you don't have gestational diabetes, I say eat away, just have fun. But if you do, follow this meal plan. It will help you to keep your baby healthy and also you. So when you guys give birth, you're not gonna run into too much problems. If you have a large baby, that baby will rip you. And then or you'll end up having a C-section. That's not very good. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm assuming Jaden's about to wake up. He's probably already getting ready to wake up. So I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next movie. Bye bye.